Welcome into the latest edition of the Stealing with the Boys podcast. I'm your host, Junie Riddle, here, along with my boys.
Juwan Williams.
And Coach Campbell.
Ellis, man, we did the pregame show on Sunday, which was awesome, by the way, being able to do a pregame show right before kickoff went off. You can get those weekly Sunday mornings where we only do the preview, and you're tuning in now to the recap. And let's get into the recap, boys, because, I mean, fellas, we got a lot to talk about. Not a lot went right. I made mention of this in our pregame show on Sunday that I was really hoping that the Jets didn't suck, boys. I told you that. I said, I hope the Jets don't suck. And the fact that they just lit us up, because if they suck, then it's going to look really, really bad on us. And I'm here to tell you, the Jets suck. And we barely beat the Jets, right? So Seattle comes in. Seattle, probably a league average team. They got talent. They're not bad in any area, but they're also not great in any area. And they ran all over us. Kenneth Walker had a resurgence game. He is back on the map after he was about to get benched the week prior. And they ran all over the Steelers. The Steelers made costly turnovers. Caleb Johnson probably made the biggest gaffe on special teams that I have ever seen a Pittsburgh Steelers make since I've been watching this team since 2003. So, fellas, we can go up and down, but that performance that we saw on Sunday was just inexcusable. And it really has me worried about where this team is going. If they barely beat the lousy Jets and then they get housed at home against a mediocre Seahawks team. So, Trey, I want to start with you. Your thoughts on this and what was one of the big things that you noticed?
Man, I still can't we can keep getting on the offense for little things like that, and our offense. I expected our offense to start off slowly, to be honest. We got a bunch of new faces, new quarterback, all that good stuff. I expected them to start off slow, but our defense, I did not expect to play this bad 2 weeks into the season. Man, I have real high hopes. This is one player I have to call out because I have real high hopes on this man. Peyton Wilson, man, he just not looking good. Can't get off of blocks. He's undercutting blocks, so they're running right past him, and that's where a lot of the big plays are coming from. He's cutting under blocks, and that just leaves a big gap there. Instead of fighting off blocks or holding blocks, let other guys get there. He's trying to do too much, I believe. So that's not helping us. Another big thing I've been seeing, I saw this on Twitter, man. We got beat 2 weeks in a row by the same exact play. So that tells me one of two things. It's a coaching thing because we're running the same schemes against the same formations. So teams are just going to tee off on that. If you get beat by one play 1 week and run the same exact defense against the same play, same formation, and get beat by it in 2 weeks in a row, that's just not having any adjustments or not knowing that teams are going to see that you just got beat by that play last week and run it against you. The NFL is a copycat league, so if one team sees you get beat by that 1 week, they're going to try to run it against you the next week, and that just happened 2 weeks in a row. So I can only imagine once the Patriots run the same formation, what's going to happen. If there's no adjustments, man, I'm going to be calling for defensive coordinator Terrell Austin's head and Mike Tomlin. If Mike Tomlin runs this defense, there's something going majorly wrong with this defense, and we need to figure it out ASAP.
Juwan, your thoughts?
I think I'm gonna take a different route. I just want to talk about the whole game in general. I just want to read off some numbers first, okay? Sam Darnold went 22 of 33 for 295. Okay. Kenneth Walker went 13 attempts for 105 yards. And Jackson Smith Najigba went 8 receptions for 103 yards. Isn't this like the 10th game in a row that's like total yards has been over 300? I think it's the 10th game. I think it's around that.
That the defense is allowed. I mean,
Yeah.
it would make sense going back to how they played last year. It wouldn't surprise me.
And it's since we're sticking on defense, it's pissing me off. Like, we have all this talent. And I know they keep saying all this whole week. They've been saying like we just need to, communicate. No, tackle. Finish the tackle. That's all we really have to do is finish tackles. We could have been right back in the game if Patrick Queen would have made that sack. We would have been right back in the game. But overall, it's like it seems like we've been on dead horse every year. We're going through the same stuff. And I know how they say the Steelers will bounce back, but I'm not overreacting yet. Not yet. But something has to be done.
I mean, just to kind of play devil's advocate, because I mean, all in all, I'm not the one that's trying to make excuses. But if there were excuses to be made, at least on the defensive side of things, I mean, Joey Porter Jr.'s hurt, Deshaun Elliott's hurt, Alex Highsmith's hurt, Derek Harmon has yet to make his in-season debut. So it's like the defense is banged up. And also, losing a Landon Roberts and not having that, linebacker that's willing to go in there and take on blocks and blow up pulling guards and just throw his head into the fire. It's just it's like we got two smaller speedy guys that like to play in coverage, and it's kind of getting exposed in the nitty gritty. So I mean, do you all think that maybe this has something to do with health on the defensive end, or do you just think that this is like a schematics thing, and more or less like guys just have to be in better position and have to get coached up better on what to do in certain situations? Trey?
I'd like to go with this one. I think it's a little bit of everything, to be honest. I think that, I said it to start off that Peyton Wilson's just trying to do too much. And I think that's kind of a coaching thing. Like the scheme we're running and what he's being taught just aren't connecting. Because when you run under blocks, that leaves that big gap, like I said, and that's where you're seeing all those long runs come from. When we had that thumper in there, like Landon Roberts, he was taking on blocks, blowing up blockers, and just allowing the other 10 guys in the field to make a play around him. So I think that's a big thing on it. Another thing I want to say is just like Alex Highsmith. I feel like we have to talk about Alex Highsmith. I don't know y'all's thoughts or opinions, but Alex Highsmith is getting paid as a number 2 edge rusher. He's been injured the last 2 years, probably 4 or 5 plus games. Like we, I don't know if it's time to move on from him or what's going on there. We'll get your thoughts on that, but I got one more thing that I think will help this run defense. I saw a stat that when Cole Holcomb was in the game, that the Seahawks only averaged 2.3 yards a rush when it was Cole Holcomb and Patrick Queen. So give me y'all's opinion. Do you think Cole Holcomb could be that first and second kind of down linebacker? Just let Peyton Wilson try to learn a little bit more. Maybe he's just not fully ready. It's his second year. His first year, you did pretty good, but we still did not have a great rush defense. What do y'all think about Cole Holcomb playing a little bit more, especially in run-specific downs?
I think he can have more snaps if he's fully up to speed because of the leg injury. So that's my only thing. But if he's up to speed, then I think next game against the Patriots, he should play. He should start and take most of the snaps. And it's okay if Payne Wilson, takes a back seat on this game. You can just learn from mistakes that you was making in the first 2 games and see what Cole Holcomb is doing. You
I mean,
know,
it can't hurt.
it can't hurt at all. It can't hurt.
I mean,
Really.
I still think from what we see, and even though he is getting gashed in the run games, I still see Peyton Wilson out there making plays. So it's not like I want him sitting on the bench entirely because we don't
No,
want to
I'm
sit
not
here
saying
and
that.
ruin the guy's confidence or try and
I'm not
punish him
saying
for
that.
it. We want him to learn and grow. And so I think kind of like what Trey's saying, kind of being more of a linebacker by committee because I feel like in the first two games it's mostly been Peyton Wilson and Patrick Queen and Cole Holcomb has just been kind of subbed in light work here and there. I think it really does kind of need to be how it was last year, and it needs to be a linebacking committee. And personally, if the run game is going to be affected by the way that Peyton Wilson is currently playing, I think Cole Holcomb has to be an early down linebacker. You throw Peyton Wilson in there on third down. We've seen how he's able to cover, how fast and versatile he is, and so use that to his advantage. And as the season goes on and he settles in a little bit more, give him some more opportunities, on first and second down and on primary run downs and see where it goes. He's a young player and let's not forget that. And on top of that was dealing with a lot of injuries in college. And so maybe didn't get all the reps and fully developed, but just a guy that still has a lot of untapped potential. And what you do with those guys is you just put them in good situations and try and coach them up, show them the film and show them what they need to work on. And as time goes by, I truly believe Peyton Wilson will grow.
I
But as
think
of right now, Cole Holcomb he's got to be the answer because we just cannot keep seeing these lanes in the B and C gap that look like a semi truck can drive through. I mean, it's just the season's not is not going to pan out the way we want if we keep seeing big gaps being exposed like this. There's too many talented running backs out there. Like Kenneth Walker hasn't played well in his last couple outings going back to last season. And he looked like the superstar that he was when he was coming out of Michigan State. So, all in all, the team's got to do what's best for the team in order to, get back to being a solidified defensive unit, one that's feared on that side of the ball. Because right now, the way they're playing, I mean, people are licking their chops ready to run the ball on this defense right now, the way they're playing.
And just going back on it, guys. I know I mentioned Alex Highsmith. What's your all's thoughts on Alex Highsmith? I mean, it seems like it's just been an injury problem after injury problem. I mean, the first week I don't think he played very well. They only ran to his side. Like people are real big on TJ Watt not making plays, but their teams are triple teaming him, not running to his side, like avoiding him at all costs. And that's just showing that maybe Alex Highsmith isn't as good as we thought he was, or he's just always injured. Like what is the solution there? Like I know Nick Herbert is gonna get a lot of snaps and Jack Sawyer played pretty well. But what do you guys think of Alex Highsmith just being injury prone and not playing well?
I mean, it's a problem. Definitely a problem. I see it as maybe you're right. Maybe we're giving him too much like props and credit and thinking that like him and TJ Watt are like a dynamic duo when it's mostly TJ Watt. And like the stats shows, if you actually look at it, let me bring it up right here. Running towards Watt is 2.5 yards per rush. Running towards Highsmith is 6 yards per rush.
And not even just that. Look at how many times they didn't run towards TJ Watt.
Yeah.
I agree. I think when we look at Alex Highsmith and when we drafted him in 2020, back then we still had Bud Dupree and he was kind of that third edge rusher kind of coming in, getting his feet wet. Bud leaves the following year and then he steps in and shows some progression. Then it was that following year back in 22 that TJ gets hurt in that Bengals game. He hurt his pec and he was out half the season. And Highsmith really stepped up and had that 14 and a half sacks and looked really good. And since then, it's just like the progression has just it's gone down. I mean, it hasn't even stalemate. I was about to say stalemate. It really has just gone down. We paid him like a true number two edge. I mean, he's honestly getting paid better than some number one edges on some teams. But all in all, it's just starting to get to the point where it's like, injury, and then he comes back, and then this play is disappointing, and then it's like, oh well, next year when he gets a full off season, he'll get healthy and get back in the swing of things. And I feel like we've just been in this cycle with Alex Highsmith the last 2 or 3 years, to be honest with you, and I hate it because we love the guy. He's a great Steeler. He's a great teammate. He does everything right, but he's just not producing on the field, which is the most frustrating aspect of this, where he was progressing, and that's just, it's really just completely fallen off. So to Trey's point about do we need to look to move him? Because, honestly, he's been in that role because Nick Herbig hasn't been defending the run well. Guess what, Alex? If you're not defending the run well, we'll take Nick Herbig's splash and what he can do, because we're going to get gashed on the ground either way. And so something's got to give. I'm not, trade Alex Highsmith right now, but if he didn't start to, step up when he gets back from his injury, which is going to be probably around midseason, it might be kind of the beginning of the end for him, whether it's in an in-season trade or just moving off him in the offseason.
Now,
And
I would
the
say
way,
this.
oh, go ahead.
I would say this. I remember when we was at the Steelers bar on Sunday, and Trey, you said you was like that you think that we overpaid TJ Watt. Now, at the time, I agreed. But then when I started watching the film and seeing how they're playing TJ Watt, like,
I even said that at the end of the game too. I was like, man, you can't even blame him. He's
yeah,
getting triple
you
teamed.
can't blame them. You can't blame the way that they're playing TJ Watt. Last game, they had TJ Watt. They had 2 tight ends on TJ Watt for most of the time. And it's so hard. I know we think that like TJ Watt is like the best defensive end in the league, but he can't do but so much. He needs help. And Highsmith, that whole side is not Cam Hayward. I haven't seen him all season, and it's been 2 games. But he was complaining about money. But I don't see the performance from the incentives that he wants. I don't see it. And then they're saying, like, I know Derek Harmon's coming back, and I really hope he's the savior of this defense. But all in all, it's a good and bad thing because they're still going to run on that side.
Yeah, so
I'm worried that the fans are going to expect Derek Harmon to come in and be the savior, and he's not. He's more of a pass rusher on the interior than he is a run stuffer. And again, he gets a great push, but when you look at the way that he's built top heavy, right? He likes to get his arms out there and create space and maneuver and do that and rush the passer. But what I'm worried is I didn't see a whole lot of run stuffing in college. And I'm looking at him in practice. I'm like, man, he's got a small lower body. Those legs aren't big and thick. They're kind of thin. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, yeah, he's definitely going to be an asset when it comes to rushing the passer. No doubt about it. Hands down. That's what he got drafted for. It's the best pass rushing defensive tackle coming out this year. But, the one thing that we have to see and that we're worried about is the run game here. And can he be the missing piece that fixes that? I don't want to put all my eggs in that basket and put such high pressure on a rookie when I feel like there's plenty of studs already on that side of the ball that should be doing their job. And plug-in and stuff in the run in general. But I also want to just kind of transition here. We've been talking a lot about the defense, and let's be honest, the defense is the most worrisome thing that we have seen. But the offensive side of the ball definitely wasn't cooking as much as they were in Week 1 against the Jets, and I really don't blame Aaron Rodgers a whole ton for that. I don't think he played as well as he played against the Jets, but there isn't going to be many times at his age that we're going to see him play like that. Let's be honest here. But I mean, all in all, with the way the Steelers played, even when they kind of had control of the game in the early first half and stuff like that, and halftime in the third quarter, it really kind of came down to one play that really, or 2 plays that changed the whole game. And that was the Calvin Austin going for the ball when it was supposed to go to Pat. That would have been a touchdown. And it turned into a tip ball interception. And then, they kick it off to us, and Caleb Johnson makes the big gaff, and they score a touchdown. You could argue if Calvin Austin doesn't tip that ball and we score a touchdown, and the Caleb Johnson thing never happens, that this is a completely different ball game, and maybe we're still overlooking these things. But it's the way that it ended in there. So, with the context, with the injuries on the defensive side of the ball, with it being early in the season, and also just kind of the weird two massive fluky plays in the game that just completely turned it on his head. I gotta ask both of you, what's our worry level? Like, if we had to gauge it 1 to 10, where are we at on the worry level? 1 being not worried at all, 10 being like panic, full on panic mode. Where are we at?
I gotta say I'm leaning towards panicking a little bit. I mean, I get all the defensive injuries and everything like that, but man, when you can't stop the run, that's when teams can just we can't. First off, our biggest thing is stopping the run and rushing the passer. We can't rush the passer if we're not stopping the run. We don't have any. There's no downs where the edge rushers that we have can just pin their ears back and go after the quarterback. So until we stop that run or figure out what's going on in the middle, I'm at a 6. I would say 6 or 7, 6.5. Let's put 6.5, because the biggest thing is stopping that run, and I don't see any sign of it stopping. I mean, the way the two teams we played this year have ran the ball against us, and those aren't even the best teams that we're going to see that run the ball. Like, we got the Ravens twice. We got the Bills, who have been running the ball with Josh Allen, throwing it all over. Like, we have some teams that are going to pound the rock against us. The Patriots, I mean, they like to run the ball. You have a Mike Vrabel led team. They like to run the ball and run play action. Like, if we don't start stopping the run, teams aren't going to fear us. They're going to just keep running the ball down our throats. And what happened in that playoff game last year is just going to happen over and over and over again. So my panic level is at 6.5, to be honest.
Juwan, 1 to 10, where you at?
I'm at a 5.5, 6. And this is why. I'm going to start by saying I think that we lost the game way before them 2 cautious plays. I think we lost the game on the first drive when it was 4th and 2. And Rodgers was mad because Tomlin was like, we should kick it instead of going for it. So I remember, this whole time with Tomlin is the whole thing about Tomlin is he says that like we're fearless, like he's fearless, like there's no way to shy away from the fear.
Yeah, we're not living in our fears. That's what he says. Yeah,
that's just saying.
I'm thinking that he's living in his fears, because why not go for it on 4th and 2 play? I keep on seeing it, and I'm like, that really changed the game. Not only that, we have to get a receiver.
That's one thing I wanted to point out.
We have to get a receiver badly. Like, it's to the point where, like, I'm still a Calvin Austin fan, like a believer, but bro, we have to get more touches. We have to look for a number 1. To be honest, the first 2 games of the season, each play, DK Metcalf, the first 2-3 throws to him, he drops them. Them slants, he drops them. He doesn't make the routine plays. He makes the spectacular catches. That's all he does. Well, so far, that's all he's been doing. We need another receiver badly, and it showed this game. That whole Calvin Austin play, that's just something you're supposed to already know. Like, I'm trying to get the terms right. If you're a receiver and you're on the outside and you can't go back in, right? Am I correct? Like,
so, I can explain this a little bit.
Okay.
In college, when we had like scramble drills, like we used to practice this scramble drills, if you're, especially in the red zone, if you're one of those guys that has like an out route or a shorter route, you come back to the ball or stay to the outside, like you said. Don't never come back in, especially if the quarterback's rolling to the left. With Pat Fryermuth, him knowing he should know the routes that are on the other routes that are in the offense, or what Pat Fryermuth's running or the other receivers are running. So with him being in the back of the end zone, he should come back to the quarterback if anything, not go back inside or even get some depth with his route. So one thing you learn with scramble routes or scramble drills and things like that is to where you're supposed to go and know what everybody else is running, so you're not that guy that comes back in or goes deeper into the boundaries. Like you should be taught that, and that could come back to a coaching thing. Like I don't know what they're coaching exactly, but that could be a coaching point that needs to be made a little bit more clearly to him. But you always have to have that spacing. Every scheme you are ever in any offense, like spacing is the biggest thing, especially when you're running a pass play. So I think he just kind of got confused on the spacing, didn't was trying to make a play, like he said in his interview. He was just trying to make a play on the ball because the ball was close to him. But you got to know when Aaron Rodgers is scrambling around and it's like an off script play, kind of what you're doing and where you need to be, because the other guys are going to do what they're supposed to do. So he obviously just made a mistake, and I think that's a very easy coachable point that he'll get fixed. But you just can't do too much. That's what I was saying. Even with Peyton Wilson, like the players are trying to do too much. Do your 111th is what my coach always said. Do your 111th and trust that the other 10 guys are going to do what they have to do.
So let me give my panic score real quick. I'm at a 4, boys. I'm at a 4. And here's why. It's week 2, right? It's week 2. We brought a lot of veterans in. We made a lot of offseason moves. It's something that we haven't done in a long time. And so it's going to take a while for these guys to gel. I mean, really, we've been kind of having the same core group of guys. I'd say we really kind of had the same core group of guys last year. We just kind of switched out the quarterbacks. But this is a lot of new faces on this team, and it's early in the season, right? And I think back to last year, and I've just this has kind of been a theme that I've just been telling anybody, not even just Steeler fans, is it's week 2. It's week 2. Last year after week 2, the Saints were 2-0, and they were going to go win the Super Bowl. They putting up 90 points in 2 games. Derek Carr is now retired a year later. Okay, life comes at you fast. And so, with everything going on, it's the small mistakes, small details, it's injuries on the defensive end, it's new guys coming together. It's going to take some time to gel, because and I know it's hard for us to compartmentalize this idea, but we get so anxious for football that we forget how football operates. September football means absolutely nothing. It means absolutely nothing. And we as fans get so caught up in this. And I mean, hell, the day of the game, after the game, I was like, man, this is going to be a long season. But when I sit here and start to like really think about it, guys, it's September. It's early. We got 15 more of these games to figure it out and to get it turned around. And to be honest with you, I believe that we have the Jimmies and the Joes to do it. I like the way Aaron Rodgers is looking. I think the offensive line, if there's a bright spot about them, I think they protected Aaron a little bit better in this game. Thought Jalen Warren kind of popped out after having a slow start in week 1. And so I just think we got to give it a few weeks. If this stuff is still going on week 6, week 7, and we're still getting gashed by the run, I'll be in panic mode. But week 2, boys, I know it's fresh. I know it's a fresh wound, but I think we gotta let it breathe. I think we gotta let it breathe. I think out of everybody, Mr. Positive right here, Mr. Positive.
No, I agree.
I like the feeling. I like the feeling.
I agree with you. Like, yeah, we got, like you said, a lot of new faces in any team. It doesn't matter if they're all vets or have been around the league or been in the league for 10 plus years. Like, you still have to feel out your teammates. Like, there's 11 guys out there at a time. Like, you have to gain that trust through play. Like, you don't just get that through practice. So with a lot of them not playing in the preseason too, or like not getting many reps in the preseason, that definitely plays a factor. And I think we'll get it figured out. I just like, you just like want like you just as a fan, like you said, you just want to see them like they're professionals out there. You feel like they should have this figured out by week one. Like, but like
And
you said, I mean, we started off last year what 4-0? Were we 4-0, 3-1?
We started out
4-2.
3. We started out 3-0. We lost the 4th game.
Okay, so well, I mean, we started out good, and you know how we fell off at the end of the year. Like you said, it's September football. This don't mean much, but we got to get the wins that we should get, and we got to pull out the games that we need to pull out.
Like I told Trey at the beginning of the show, I told him that like I just got to get this vent off, and I'm back on board. But I have to bring something up because it's really pissing me off. Okay, so this running back room, all right. What? We ran the ball 3 times on 2nd down and 10, 2nd and 10, right? Not only that, in the red zone, after we got that long pass play with Jalen Warren, why are we putting Kenneth Gainwell in?
Jalen Warren probably needed a breather after that, but yeah.
That's a big play. That's a lot of gas coming out that injury.
I'm saying like and then on 3rd downs, Kenneth Gainwell is like 3rd and 1s, 3rd and 2s. Kenneth Gainwell is getting the run.
I don't like him running up the middle. I don't like him. That's just not playing towards his suited skill. He's a guy that, you can run the ball with him on the outside. He's a good swing back, throw it off, dump it off, check it down. He's a great 3rd down back, but why we're running him up the middle, I think it's a great point, Jawan. Running Kenneth Gainwell up the middle when you have Jalen Warren who loves contact, and you also have a rookie. I know we're mad at him, but much better at taking on contact in between the line of scrimmage. I just feel like those guys should be getting those touches and not
of him.
Hmm?
Junie, you have to come to the stand.
About?
I've been telling you this since the first game of the season.
Oh, that he needs to be taking off kickoff.
Caleb Johnson kick returning.
That's fair. You did say that. You did say that. You said it. You said it on the episode. Listen. No one's denying. You said that on the episode, and I was like, pump the brakes. It'll be all right. And then I was like,
no, it won't.
He saw the first 2 returns.
No, it won't. He's not. I've been telling y'all. I said, and I know his confidence.
Okay. Let me pose a question for you real quick. Who would you want back there? Because I'm saying don't put Jalen Warren back there. I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with that.
I would put Gainwell. I put Gainwell and Scotty Miller. That's who I'd put back there.
Roman Wilson. Let him be useful.
Yeah,
Roman Wilson. Yeah, he's returned kicks in college too. So
yeah,
at least use him somehow.
He hasn't shown me nothing. Nothing.
He hasn't got many snaps either, bro. Like, you know how I said before at the pregame show, like I thought the tight ends were going to get involved. Pat drops that not touchdown, but that dime from Aaron Rodgers, like probably the best throw I've seen by a Steelers quarterback. Yes. Like he dropped that and then like wasn't involved in much of the game. Jonnu Smith, same thing. Like we finally threw Darnell a pass for a 2-point conversion. Why a 2-point conversion? I don't know.
We're doing the same thing we did last year. We're doing the same thing we did last year on a 2-point conversion. We'll throw Darnell the ball and not give him nothing else.
Dude, and one other thing I saw that I still don't want to see ever again is that toss play. We ran one toss play with Jalen Warren.
Like Trey said,
he brought it back from last year. I'm like, please, no. I literally said that to Joanne. I'm like, why is this toss play back in the playbook?
We gave Arthur Smith. I think we gave Arthur Smith too much credit on the first game.
Yeah,
I think we did because he's back to doing his old stuff, and I'm tired of it. I really want to get a receiver.
What was the one thing that Trey made a comment about the receivers though? And again, if you're complaining about the receivers, you got to complain about being able to pass the ball. These guys aren't getting separation.
Yep.
And DK is dropping the ball. The receiving core has been a major disappointment all around for the first 2 games, I would say. I mean, Cal had a pretty good first game. DK played I would say okay to his standards in the first game, but like these wide receivers aren't stepping up at all. So it's just, I mean, we can sit here and blame Arthur Smith, and again, I'm not saying that he shouldn't deserve a portion of it because some of the play calls I didn't like. But I mean, at the end of the day, when you have what you're working with, I mean, it's rough. When we saw Arthur Smith with AJ Brown and Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee, I mean they were the top 3 offense in the league, and it's just when you don't sometimes when you don't have the star-studded players and your star-studded players that you do have aren't showing out. DK Metcalf, Pat Freiermuth. I mean, what can you do? If doesn't drop 2 balls and Pat catches that one that hits him in the hands that Aaron throws like 50 yards on the run, like I mean, we're and then again, Calvin doesn't tip the ball. Like it's just a completely different game, and
Yeah,
we're just looking
I
at it
agree.
completely different. So
I
at the end of the day, we can sit here and blame Arthur Smith, but guys got to do their job, And if guys do their job on the offensive end, we win that game. It might not be pretty, it might not be the best, and it might not be the perfectly called game, but we win that game,
I
and
do
that's
want
just
to say,
facts.
I do
That's
want to
facts.
say though, I do want to say with the DK stuff, like DK isn't used to not having like a true number 2 next to him. I mean, the teams just like on our defense, like they're scheming to take our best guy away. Take away TJ Watt, you win the game. They're taking away DK Metcalf
They
from
definitely double
making
team.
plays. Like what else? I mean, yes, he's dropping passes, and that will come. He'll start making those catches that he needs to make, those routine catches. But when you're getting double teamed all game, man, there's not much else you can do when you don't have another receiver on the other side of you. Like, say we were to get okay, let's just put it the hypothetical. Say we were to get a Tyreek Hill or like I know this is a long stretch, but like an AJ Brown, like
Or Chris
then you
Olave.
then you see more DK. Then you see more DK being freed up. Safety's not leaning his way. Like that stuff does make a thing. We're in the same situation we were last year with GP. I would say DK is a better player, but you still have 2 people on you, like 2 NFL starters, secondary starters on you at all times. Like there's not so much you can do.
That's why part of me and again I'm the one that called out his head case and how much he was on
Man,
BS all the
if we
time.
had
But
GP still,
you get rid of GP for a 3rd-round pick and you don't replace him because we all thought for sure,
we're gonna get replaced.
this after last offseason, surely they're not going to go into the season again, sitting on their hands. Guess what? They're sitting on their hands. They're getting the same results, and it's just like honestly, I'm thinking about it. And it's like, and I believe I said this in our first episode back. It's like, was it really worth it? Not going and making another move. Like, good, take the guy out. No one's mad about moving Pickens because of his issues that he had.
Right.
Fine, wasn't fitting in, causing trouble, stirring up in the locker room. Some guys were having issues. Fine, but you don't go and replace him with nobody.
Like any upgrade would have been
And you're
nice.
just in this. It's the same thing over again. It's just guys. I mean, guys, it's getting frustrating. And at the end of the day, it's like I mean, it's a catch-22. Either one or two things are going to happen. It's like this team is either going to turn it around and get it together, or Tomlin is out, and it's going to be rebuild time. Like that's what it's going to be. I mean, this is the year. They have changed up everything. They've gone out and traded and signed people and have built this team for this year. They fall on their face. It's done. It has to be. There's no way you bounce back from this. There's no way.
I'm telling
No
you, brother, by trade deadline, 3 names to look for: Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave, AJ Brown.
Out of all those hills, the most likely Olave would be the one that I'd be the most excited about.
We got the picks. We're gonna do something.
We
I
better
don't think AJ Brown, and I'm gonna say this right now.
AJ Brown ain't leaving.
He ain't going
he's
nowhere.
not,
He ain't
but
going nowhere.
wishful thinking.
It's wishful thinking. Yeah, that'd be like a wishful thinking type of
That'd
scenario.
be like hitting the lottery.
I think Saints will be looking to move some players and go into full rebuild, but we'll see.
We shall see. But all in all, boys, I think this is about all the time that we've had. We've covered everything. We've vented a lot. We gotten a lot off our chest. I feel like we had a little bit of a therapy session here. I feel like that was much needed, having to get that game off our mind. But we got a big one this week, boys. You know, Drake May and the Patriots, they've been up and down this year. Sometimes they're looking great, sometimes they're not. And we've struggled going up against them, but at the same time, we've owned Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel's never beaten the Steelers. And so something's got to give on Sunday, boys. Is Tomlin going to end his losing streak against the Pats, or is Mike Vrabel going to end his losing streak against the Steelers? I mean, we're gonna have to dive into that deep on Sunday. But I'm going to tell you this: coming into the season, I thought this was going to be a loss. Now losing to Seattle, I don't know. I think this is going to be a pretty solid matchup here. So a lot to look forward to, and we're going to be bringing it all to you all on Sunday. Boys, any last comments before we wrap up the episode?
I will be in Foxborough.
Oh, yeah, Trey will be in. I forgot all about that. Trey will be in Foxborough, and the people that are taking him to the game said that he is going to have great access. Don't know what that means, but you'll find out. So tune in. So tune in Sunday morning. We'll be doing it 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central, live right where you're watching here. We will be going live. Trey will be in Foxborough. Me and Juwan will be at our homes watching from the couch, unfortunately. But, again, we'll have a full breakdown for you on game day. Any other last comments from you boys before we wrap up?
Let's get back on the winning path.
Let's please get back on the winning path. So,
all right. 2
weeks away.
For the Stealing with the Boys podcast, we are out.
No more Tomlin games, please.